You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
After centuries of misguidance caused by slavery, colonization, lack of awareness of our history, and institutional disinformation, a new Africa is on the move, determined and getting organized. Afrika tuko pamoja. Welcome to the United Kingdoms of Great Africa. The United Kingdoms of Great Africa is the credo of the alliance movement of all African intelligences around a common ideal: the unity and development of a strong, conquering, and completely dedogmatized Africa through the channel of a strong organization called the Africa We Want Global. You are an African, Afro-descendant, researcher, historian, scientist, or simply an NGO. You want to be part of this great historical march towards the total freedom of an uninhibited Africa? Visit our website www.africawewantglobal.org. Register and discover the range of our platforms for change. AfricaWeWantGlobal.org. Join the kingdom, be part of it. An initiative of Dr. Susan Tatah.
Good evening. Greetings to all of you. I'm really sorry that we are starting this conversation tonight very late, but I'm very thankful that we could even connect and have access to Ambassador Tony JAJA and Precious and our princesses that are sitting right here, looking so burnt out, so tired, so depressed, but also happy that they could get out of this crazy situation of this war that is taking place in the Ukraine. So I'm very happy to have them here on the conversation. We're not going to take time a lot. As you can see them freezing, they're still shocked about having to escape this kind of a situation. Most of them are just, it's like we came out of the mouth of a lion. Like we don't even believe that we're alive today. Of all what we went through, the trauma, the distress, we thought we would not even get out of this zone to see our families again. So they're still actually in a situation where I think in a normal standard, they should be taking care of that shock process that they've gone through, because it's not easy to come out of this kind of a situation. So I want to go back to this studio, greet Dr. Ambassador JAJA. Good evening, sir, and thank you for being here. Thanks to you that we're hosting these girls and our daughters that had to flee this conflict. And thank you that we would have information actually from your own perspective, what you think that Africa's leadership should be paying attention, or what should Africans generally in the world be paying attention at this critical moment. Over to you, Ambassador Tony JAJA. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Susan Tatah, and our two princes that was been following them since the day one of the shooting. And I've seen now they are out from Kyiv. Susan, we have a lot to do as an African. And that is why always we talk about the Africa we want. And we, every time in all the crises that happening in the world, we see ourselves always victim as an African. And this is the breaking heart always when we see our African leaders always they observe things from far and don't take action quick. And you have seen the communique that I sent you that was on the 28th being done by the African Union condemning the Russian invasion or to Ukraine and asking the Russian to withdraw immediately from that site, and then condemning that, preventing the African student that want to flee the Ukraine to the bordering site. And I asked the question this afternoon, and I called them, as I've been communicating with them, and I called the assistant to the office of the Musa Faki as the chairman of the African Union. And I say, what have you done as an African Union? Yes, you have this statement that you have made. But I said, we call all the ambassadors so that they can communicate with their counterpart, and they communicate with the European Union that the Africans should be treated the same way they treat the other Ukrainian who are fleeing the country to the bordering country, because there is international law that is giving access when there is a conflict in the country. So everybody has a right to flee or to cross the border of the other nation when they have something that's showing their identity, showing that they have the ID, the belonging passport, and all these things. So to give them access to cross the other border. So that was something that's supposed to be done. And I followed these things. When Sunday Adelaide just sent me a message, and he told me, bro, we need a lot of prayers. You know, Sunday Adelaide is a Nigerian origin, Nigerian who left Russian in 19 years. When he was 19 years, he was deported from there because of his Christianity, and then God sent him to Ukraine, and he established a big church that is containing about 25,000 members, and he has other branches. So this is the largest church in Ukraine. They call Embassy of God Church. So I know Sanda Ndeleja from since 2009. So we met in Australia one time, and I visit him even in the house when those ladies that you have them now, Precious and her friend and the others who joined them now in Budapest in Hungary, that they went to hide themselves in that house. I visited that house when I was in Ukraine, in Kiev, and I know Ukraine country, they are very peaceful people, and they have been helping African, giving them chance to come and study in their places. But the problem always is about our international policies. Yes, we are partners with the United Nations. We are partners with the Security Council. We are partners with the European Union. You have seen just recently there was the European Union and African Union summit in Brussels. And this is the things that always that our people, they don't take it in a way that the interests of Africa first. We are not talking about the interests of the Union. We have to talk about the interests of the African, not as individual countries, but as the continent. This is what our African leaders should do. There's African leaders now who are supporting what the Russian has done, because Russian has stood with them during the liberation time in 60s and 50s, and that time before the independence of many African nations like Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and others, even Ethiopia, and all and all and all. So we can go with numbers if we want to read. Bhutan was in 1973 was in Tanzania, helping Tanzanians to liberate themselves. So the same Bhutan is the one now invading Ukraine. And the same Soviet Union has helped many African countries before as a Soviet Union, and it still continue. When there is any issues, that sanction coming from the Security Council, Russians always, they stand for their veto against the sanction that is want to be sanctioned in Africa. So we know that what is happening now, Susan, it is a war of interest. It is who is going to be superpower. And as I said it before, the world is not going to be the same. This what is happening. This is the beginning. This is the process of the council, how the world is going to be run in the future. So I said it before, I don't want to repeat it again. So these things is happening now. We are seeing it now, that the nations who are standing now with Ukraine, supporting Ukraine, giving them ammunition, start supporting them with humanitarian exits, putting billions and millions, hundred millions of dollars. US said, we will help you, we will save. And when the time came for Ukraine to have that kind of support from the US, Biden said, we will pray for you. It's not about the prayers, it's about the action. Now, recently, just 1 hour ago, the United Nations, they have voted for Russian immediately to withdraw from the Ukraine. 141 countries has voted for that one. 15 countries they did not vote. There's 35 countries they 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 have rejected, but 141 they have voted that Russia should withdraw from Ukraine, including some of the African countries. They have voted for that. So we as an African, and this is what I used to tell people, yes, we have our issues, and as an African, we should solve our issues, we should all solve our problem. Many times we have war, but we don't see the way now the whole world, the whole European, the big, the great and the superpower nations is standing with Ukraine and giving the support and all these things, like what they did now, they don't do it to Africa. So we see ourselves like we are not part of the decision makers in the decision making in the international law, in international, our things don't go every time, but this is the time that we should really work for ourselves. We are not a threat to the international community, but the international community is the threat to Africa. This is the problem we have, because with a lot of debts we have upon ourselves. You have seen now how they have turned all the Russians economic things that they have destroyed, really, by taking Russian from the SWIFT, by taking Russian from all the business sanctioning, the business personnel, the Putin himself, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, and all these things. Those sanctions is not going to affect only Russian. It's going to affect even the Western world. It's going to affect the European Union. It's going to affect even the American people themselves. You have seen now even the price of the oil has risen to 112. Now they have called 31 countries to release the reserve of 60 million barrels. And this is chaos. We are not seeing the big picture. We're not talking about the nuclear war that is going to happen. As Putin said, if America try, I will blow it and we will go to heaven. We will go to paradise. You cannot go to paradise that way by killing people. These are all the nonsense. These are all the words that's coming from the leaders. We become like chess, people playing with us. And African is still standing with their condemned, standing with that, but there is no tangible, strong statement that they have given to the world, so that the world should know that Africa is strong and is standing.
It's very I don't know, like we say, muzzle-less. There are no muzzles in it, nothing. Because even the treatment of your very citizens when they're fleeing, I mean, does it even make sense that when people are fleeing from war, they have to be at the border to show passport when you're really running for your life? What does that really matter? And so, anyways, that's just. I want to go back, Shirley. Thank you so very much, Dr. Amba. Just stay there. I want to get back to the princess here for us to just get their impression and what actually happened to them. Precious and your friend, what happened? Hello. Are you hearing me?
Hello.
Princess?
Yeah. Yes. It was right. Okay. So it happened in the morning, on the Thursday morning, and just like a normal day that we thought would be. and we're woken up by, explosions and sounds. You know, I got a call, telling me
Yes.
like we have an invasion going on, and I was like, really? And then I came out and I saw people just running and confused, and I was confused also. I didn't know what to do, and one of my neighbors told me I should go to the village, and I was like, where do I go to from here? So it was just a very confused. So we never really expected it. We all never expected it. When we got the rumors that okay, it was going to happen,
Precious.
we were like, no. Yes.
Hello, Precious.
Yes.
Your microphone is acting up. There's just too much noise. We barely hear what you're saying. Is there anything that you have to adjust out there? Are you using a headset or anything?
No, we're not using a headset. But maybe we can try. How about now? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
The noise is still coming, but I don't know how we can manage that. There's a background noise that is so really disturbing.
Okay.
Just go ahead. Let's see if we can manage it like that. But it's really weird. Hello.
Okay.
Beautiful. Great. Go ahead.
So can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Perfectly.
Okay.
Start it over
so
again.
My name is. Yes. So we wake up Thursday morning. That's 5 a.m. And I heard the first explosion. Like I was sleeping, so I was confused. I was like, okay, I just went to use the restroom. I came back, and the explosions keep going off. But because it was early in the morning, I just couldn't believe. I couldn't ever imagine that it was the Russian invading, because the previous day, that was on Wednesday, it was declared that Ukraine has a state of emergency, and even at that, I was like, I live with the Ukrainians, and we were like, okay, so it's just a state of emergency. Everything is not going to be all right. So really, Putin took everybody by surprise, because up until Thursday morning, 5 a.m., nobody believed that Putin was going to invade Kyiv. Because if his main plan was to take over Kyiv, Ukraine, he wouldn't want to destroy Ukraine, because he have to rebuild it. So everybody was relaxed. So all the news we were getting on CNN, all the BBC, everything, we kept reading it, and we were like, okay, well, whatever is going on, we're fine. And we were so relaxed, because his most intention was the other part of the country, that's Donetsk and the other Crimea that he has already taken over. And those people have already signed an agreement that they are independent states. So that is the main reason that made us we're so relaxed, that if he's taking over those states that have already, declared independent, he can never come to Kyiv, because he doesn't need anything again with the capital, with Ukraine. And this what made everything worse, because if we knew ahead of time that he was going to invade Kyiv, we would have left. So that was the beginning of the whole story. And lucky us, should I say, where we're staying, we have a basement. There is a basement. We have to go and run over there. There are other people that were with us. Of course, Precious came later on to join us, which at first, as she said, everybody is confused. So the first thing you do is to try to get somebody to kind of put your heads together to plan what to do. So she came to us, which maybe she shouldn't have, because she was coming from the city, and we were outside of the city, thinking that we are safe. So when she came, unfortunately, the city, the outside of the city that we are is a military, base, and that was where Russia attacked. That 5 a.m. on Thursday, they attacked 17 places at once, and all these places are military bases. Like, they wanted to just cripple the Ukrainian military, how should I say, weapons or whatever center it is. So they won't be able to fight them or retaliate, in any way. So that was how we all started from Thursday to how we escaped. We were staying in the basement.
It was very cold, actually.
Yeah.
Some of us are actually getting sick, and very, disturbing. Very disturbing. We couldn't, barely sleep. We're always on the lookout because we don't know where, it's going to hit next, So it was really, really frustrating and very traumatizing, really, because any small sound right now we hear, it's always like, oh, is that a bomb?
Right.
So every time, sometimes I close my eyes, all I see sometimes is just like those the sounds, or I see guns or something. So it's really, really scary. And on our journey seeing, armed people everywhere, soldiers, and, crossing over the bridge that was bombed in European, because we decided that on Monday we wanted to leave that place, because it was getting out of hand, and we thought we was going to get really serious, and we had to leave as soon as we could. So there was no means of transportation. For those 5 days we're at the basement, we tried to get taxis. We tried to get in touch with people in Kyiv. Everybody that we had known had already left Kyiv or even traveled out of the country.
Yes.
So we were left. We called everybody. We were like first we were like 7 of us, and everybody's trying to get in contact with someone that probably has a car or has a means of coming to see us. But each time they're always like the bridge, everybody doesn't want to come to that side because of the bridge was bombed. So, and during the weekends on a Friday to, I think, Sunday, there was a curfew that nobody could go out, and all the lights were turned off. All the gas was turned off. So for like a day, we didn't even eat anything. And then, so that's how, when the curfew ended on Monday, we tried still to call taxis. We thought maybe we'll get something. And when nothing was coming, we were like, we just made up our mind that we had to go out. We don't know what's going to meet us outside, but we just had to do something because we can't just stay there. So that's how we started embarking on the journey. We got to the bridge we saw the bridge that was bombed. When we got there, it was really hard to cross the river.
Right.
So, and in that process of crossing, some of us lost our luggage. Yes. And it just floated across the river. There was nothing we could do. So right now we are even here without anything, just the clothes that we had on.
Even this one that we had on, they gave it up to us at the train station when we arrived today. So we practically have nothing. No toothbrush,
Yes.
No toothpaste, no any hygiene whatsoever you can think of. But at least we're grateful that we're here, we're alive.
We're alive, yes.
Yeah.
And in that journey, after we crossed, we finally...
When you say we are here, where are you here? Where? In a where?
Here in Hungary.
Okay.
So we were on the road for 3 days.
We've been seeing some very disturbing images out there. I don't know, the line keeps breaking. I'm so sorry. We saw a lot of images where Africans would be the ones to get on the bus last or crossing the borders. We saw students that were shouting, "No, we're students," and they were showing their passports. And how was it like when they were rescuing or evacuating people? Were you really just treated like everybody gets on the bus and move, or no, some first-class citizens? That's what we hear. Is that true?
Well, when we got to the train station, was it yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday.
On Monday.
Right. So the attendee of the train came out and made an announcement that we are going to make order here. First, the disability people are going to go in, mother and kids are going to go in. then women next, then maybe guys, like men or guys. That's how the arrangement was. But there wasn't any fairness whatsoever, because truly the disability people, that's the elderly people and so on, the mother and the kids, they went in. Then women, we are women, were standing there, and nobody was even looking at us. And at a point, the attendee of the train was like, you guys have to show us your train ticket. And we and other foreigners were like shocked. Are you kidding me? We are trying to get into the train, and as we're talking to you, we could hear the bomb going off. You're telling them about ticket. Like, we didn't even know that, because we tried to communicate with other students that have gone, with other people that have left the country, and all this communication, nobody mentioned anything about ticket. And here we are in the front, in the front of the train that is about to leave, and you're telling us we have to go to get the tickets. So right in front of me, I can testify that I didn't see any African entering that first train. Like, we have to try 3 trains before we're able to get. The first train, no African. The second train, no African. And by the way, other foreigners as well, Chinese, Arab, whatever, whatsoever. So they were putting on their citizens first, and without foreigners. And even at one point, all their citizens were on the train, but none of us were being allowed. And I was telling the train attendee that, can you even offer us to stand? We are ready to stand, because he was saying there is no space for us to sit. Or I said, we don't care. We are ready to stand, even if it means for us to sit on the floor. We have to get on this train. Trust me, nothing happened. So the first 2 trains left without us, and we have to come back, sit and start, buying tickets. At the end of the day, we spent the last money we had to buy tickets, which we did in the beginning, because we haven't eaten. I think today was the first time we eaten in 3 days. And we spent that money trying to get a ticket, which obviously it wasn't relevant. Yeah, it wasn't relevant for any journey. You shouldn't be asking somebody for a ticket, in that kind of situation. So anyways, there wasn't any fair treatment in that situation, which was really traumatizing, really traumatizing. I remember a Chinese guy was really screaming, like, what about us? What about that? That really touched me. What about us? We're humans. What about us?
Some even showed their tickets. Some even had tickets and were showing their tickets, just like the other, citizens were, and they were not allowed to get on the train. People were pushing their way through, and none of us was allowed. When any of us tried to enter, we were being stopped.
Right.
It was very, very sad, very, very sad, and very unfortunate. Make us feel very, less. Make us, feel less of ourselves.
Right.
And we deserve, equal rights.
Especially in a crisis like that.
In a crisis like that, yes.
Skin color shouldn't be the problem. Everybody is trying to stay alive.
Or even a nationality shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Wow. I mean, you lived and studied in Ukraine, and like Ambassador Tony was saying, this is a friendly country and something. Did you ever imagine that something like this could happen? So, like, it's because of this situation that you can actually know the real faces of people, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. I
remember you told me.
Yeah.
You're like, I've never seen Ukrainians be so aggressive like this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
you were saying it.
Yeah. Because I've stayed in Ukraine longer than her, and that was my exact word. Like, they are very, very calm people, and the racism is there. You can't deny that. So, but for a Ukrainian to behave in a certain way that I saw at the train station, and in other situations, it was ugly, really. It just dawned on you that this is happening. This is like, you just feel like this is the end. This is the end. This is the end of the wall. I don't even know if I can get out of this. And I'm trying to tell you, you said it at the beginning, we're looking at us. The trauma is real. Today I was, as we just entered the house, I heard a sound and I freaked out. So the trauma is real. And I'm still about to even believe that we are here in Hungary safe.
Yes.
I still don't feel safe. I was trying to go through the kitchen. I was looking at the door. Maybe I'll hear something. I don't know.
Even on the roads, when we were trying to almost cross the border, we kept looking around. No, it was very scary, and it was at night. It was late, so many thoughts just going through one's head. What if, this is where you meet your nemesis? You just never know.
Right.
But we're just really glad and to be here and to be alive. But right now, unfortunately, there are some people, there's some students or foreigners that are stuck in other cities that it's very hard for people or even help to get to them.
Right.
So we really feel it for them. It feels like to be stranded, what it feels like to be helpless, what it feels like, to be in a place where you don't want to be, and with explosions and shootings going on around you, and you don't know what to do.
And Dr. Susan, you talked about in the beginning what we can do as African in diaspora in the community to help ourselves and what we're lacking. In my opinion, I think what I saw is that the African community, we are not united. Because right in front of me, when we got to the train station, even in Ukraine and even here, you could see other embassies waiting for their citizens. Even the Ukrainians were waiting at the train station today with a paper, with a flag, and written something. Ukraine, if you need help, we are here. And I didn't see any black, South African or Nigerian or Zambia. I didn't see any.
No, we had to fend for ourselves, literally.
Maybe there is help. Yeah, but in situation like this, what you expect is your embassy or whatever African community should be right in front of the train, waiting and waving like we're here. That would have really be a big help. But there wasn't anything like. Maybe there was, I didn't see. But I don't know, Precious, I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see anything like that.
So we really need to be united. We really need to be united because this is real. This is real.
The war is real. Never in my lifetime I think I was going to experience this, and it's real, and it's really hard to get over it right now. Really hard. It just take God's grace.
Wow. I don't know. We just really thank God for your lives and for the situation. And I think these are really experiences that just take a break a little bit, drink some water, and just relax. I want to get back to Dr. Tony. Dr. Tony, JAJA, I mean, you heard this. I'm freezing, honestly. I'm going to, I don't know. I just get a cold, as if I'm getting fever hearing this, because I put myself in that place. I'm in that empathy. I get the whole picture. I feel like it was me, like I'm choked up. I'm just choked up. You don't even know what will happen. Then the worst thing, you see other nations really just coming and treating you like you're just not human. How do we live in such a situation, Dr. Tony?
As I said, Dr. Susan Tatah, that we really African, we have issues. We really have issues. And we are so disorganized when things come to for own affairs as African in diaspora, or whatever is happening to us as an African in continent. And this is really a shocking things when you see things happening like that. You just get speechless. What can you say? We have been talking about African we have been talking about the unity of Africa. We have been talking about the diaspora repatriation pact to African continent, all these things. So this is the things now, when we talk to the leaders and we said, let us be independent. Yes, we got our independence having flag, but we are not independent in our own sovereignty. This is another issue. The other countries, they treat them in the first class. We are being treated in the last class, whatever, 10 class or 3 class behind. And this is the big issue that we have. We have seen many other embassies that evacuating their members, their staff from Kyiv and leaving their people behind. those students and those who are working there. And you have seen there is over 80,000 foreign in Ukraine, 80,000 foreign in Ukraine. Most of them, they are students from 180 countries, you see. But if you go to the African, you will see Nigerian, there are 4,000, Ghanaian, there are 2,000, and there's others 500, 200, and all this. But when you come as an African, they are really, some of them now, they are behind. They are not able to cross the border because of these races that we have seen. And these things has to be, there has to be addressed by the African Union as a union that representing the continent is strongly. Yes, they call the ambassadors to communicate with their ambassadors, the counterpart in the European Union, so that to have access, to give them the same equal right, like the Ukrainian crossing the border. So this is the work of the human right. This is the work of the UNHCR. They are not going for refuge. As refugees, they are going to cross the border so that they can get access to go back to their country to their homes, to where they came from. Because nobody is going to claim to be refugees there, because they asked refugees from Ukraine. They didn't ask refugees from the other countries, because they have no issues with them. They have no any problems in their countries. They went there for school. They went there for the good life, to work or get experience. Some of them, they finish school, they work. Some of them, they're doctors, like the young man you brought last time on the show. They are working as doctors. Some of them, they are nurses there. So they go to look for the life. So this is the thing that we don't focus on our interests, the priorities, the interests, because the whole nations are working for their interests. The problem with Africa today, and we are going to be in another step that is going to bring crisis to us too, because if the Europe gone now, there will come a refuge into the Africa, because Africa will be safe. There's nothing in Africa. We have no any kind of nuclear problem. We have no any kind of any the weapon of mass destruction. We have nothing in Africa here. But Europe, they can destroy themselves. If they start hitting themselves now, if Putin, like now, calling Putin to withdraw, he will he will say, no, I'm not going to do, because people are saying that Putin has losing his mind, as you have seen, and America is waiting there, and the other European and the European Union Parliament, whatever they have been saying, all the sanctions they have exposed to Russians is going to bring a lot of chaos to the whole world. It is a changing of the system. It is about showing the muscle who's going to take over. China now is just observing. China now is asking that things to be solved in the way of let people dialogue, let people use the diplomatic way and all these things. But Russia is not doing that. Even in the talk, it's not doing that. That is why he wants to capture Kyiv as a capital, so that the NATO should not be closer to his border. That is the whole case. It's about the NATO to come near to Russia, because there's a lot of things that is going to happen. So there's a teaching that Russians should learn from what they did in 1939 in Finland, when they invaded Finland, and they took over 500,000 troops to go and fight the small country Finland, because they want to take over. They want to expand to the Eastern Europe. What happened to the Russian? 300,000 died. And that is small country, only 65,000 died. So Russia now has repeated again after 80 years, 83 years now, coming back to invade this small country. Is just to show his muscle to this small country, so that he won. When you want to beat the big one, you beat the small, you beat the child, so that the child will cry and the father will come. So this is what Putin now is doing. So he wants to bring those European, the Western world, to come closer, so that they can hit themselves. Ukraine now has become a victim as a child between Russia and the Western world. Yes, We are not going to send our military to support you. We are not going to, we will support you. We give you the military weapons, we give you the ammunition, we give you everything. So to support you, there's a support. They want to evacuate the president to US. And the president said, don't bring something to evacuate me. Give me the guns. Let me fight the Russian. So this is now the scenario that is happening. Africa is just waiting. Africa is now just watching from far, and then we are monitoring. Monitoring what? You are not part of the global decision. You are not part of the global issues. Even if you are represented by union, you have nothing to say to the West. That is the problem here. You have nothing to say. You cannot even sanction America. You cannot even sanction Russia. You cannot sanction even China or the European countries, because you are always on their mercy. That is our problem, Susan Tatah. We have to come out from this dilemma that we are in. We have to reorganize ourselves, and we have to stand as an African and put our policies right. Why, if things happen like during pandemic time, when the COVID-19 started, the blames was put on the African people. In China, we have seen the racists. In India, we have seen how they are beating the African people, like they are the one who created the virus. And we are not part of the virus. We did not create anything, but no condemnation has been done. Nobody has condemned it. This is only because they just condemn it because this is the Russian now, and the Western world has gone, and they have said their word, this is equal. Why we did not fight for the equal right all this time? If we have the equal right, we should have a seat, a permanent seat in the Security Council after 76 years. Until today, we have nothing now to do. So when we talk, we are just talking in air, but our words cannot change anything. No respect from the international community for whatever we say. That is why they have this, our young boys now, the African students who are now in the border are not able to cross. It is because of the way we handle our things as an African people, African authorities too.
So the issue is it's like you have fire in your own house and you're running out to go and put out fire from your neighbor's house. Does it even make sense? Isn't it time that we just focus on our first, even of us just build ourselves and to take care of our own business before we even poke our noses into things that don't even favor us? Nobody's even hearing, like you're just backing, wah, wah, wah. Nobody's even listening.
This is really the issue we have. This is really the issue we have. African leaders, some of them, they don't want to condemn what Russia has done. They don't want to impose even what Russia has done, because they are under the depths. They have unfinished business with Russia. You see, in 2019, there was an African-Russian summit, and Putin pledged $60 billion to invest in Africa. Some of them now are operating in Africa. These are the issues here. It's the same thing with China. And the same thing with French. And now the same thing now even with the European Union. Pledging billions of dollars, 170 billion US to invest in Africa. But as an African, with all the resources we have nothing to say. Even we want to invest $1 million in Europe or where, because there is no plan. There is no strategic program that we have that will make us so strong. It's not about just the union, because the world is not run by words. It's not run by just saying things and you don't implement. The world is run by economical. These are the economic things that are happening. You have nothing to be sanctioned. You have nothing to sanction the Europe. But Europe always impose sanction on us. And that is why they cannot even say, okay, allow the African to move, or let these boys cross over. And we have seen how the nation, those Hungarian and those of Poland and others, they refuse to receive those who cross the Mediterranean Sea from Libya to other side. They refuse to accept them to be part of it. So now when you go, it's a problem for you. That does mean you will disappear. In Hungary, you will disappear. In Rome, Romania, or in Poland, in other places, in Germany even. Because Germany now is receiving the Ukrainian refugees. America has opened, UK has opened. But they are not talking about the foreign who are living in Ukraine. They are talking about the Ukrainian citizen. That is a big different case here. So, but when there is no coordination of how to coordinate our own affairs through our embassies, because we have representatives in the European Union in Brussels, they should even communicate with those things, as we have read in the communique of the African Union on the 28th, that they spoke with them. They call a meeting, but still we don't see that meeting has an impact. Nothing has changed with that communique from Macky Sall and Moussa Faki, both of them the chairman of the African Union and the president of the African Union, the current president, Macky Sall of Senegal. Nothing has changed. Yes, they have spoken. But African, we want, it is really is something that we see like it's very close, but now we are seeing it's getting far and it's fading because we are not seeing the clear picture when those crises come. Now this crisis of Ukraine has shown us how Africa still need to be reorganized really. We need to be very strong this time. And this is what I can just say.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to be done.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Tony JAJA. But we are saying we have everything that we need. As a matter of fact, you just made a statement, which I think that you like, we should even be watching our like, isn't this loud enough for us to understand that there's no business out here for us or anything that African who want to regret for? We just go back. If even they are coming or who is coming for whatever. Isn't that a solution? Because when we're talking about these things, I see people saying, oh, it's not our business, it's not this, it's not our business, but it affects us. There's nothing that we can say is not our business in this issue. Because when they finish beefing each other, who are they going to look at the big meat that is waiting? Ambassador Tony JAJA. It's always like, you know, when they finish hitting others and then they don't have raw materials or food, where are they going to run to?
Let me say the big problem that is going to face Africa in 30 years from now is this war of resources coming back to us, because now they are finishing, now they are destroying Europe, and now the only resources remain is in Africa. Whatever they want to use to travel to space, to travel to Mars, is in Africa. So they are going to create a problem in Africa again. If we're not going to stand from now to organize ourselves and to put our policies right toward the international policies, marketing, in global market, we are going to be in problem. Really, we are going to be in problem. And it's still, they are going to use those people who are so wicked in Africa to destroy their own people so that these resources to go back to Europe again. The time has come. The geopolitics has changed. The global issues are not going to be global issues, because what Putin did, it was changing the world politics, the world issues to who is going to run the affairs of the world. But now, this is the fear of the West. They are really fearing what Russia has, because 6 nuclear weapons that they have can destroy the whole world. This is what Putin said. And they don't want to mess up with that one. Now, by declaring his army to be ready anytime, to be alert, because he's sending the signal to the international, to the world leaders, that whatever you want to try on me, I am going to give you double. I'm going to destroy you. But where is Africa here? Where are we in this situation? Because the First World War was not in Africa. The Second World War was not in Africa. The Third World War is not in Africa now. And this is the beginning indicating of processing this Third World War coming. It is not in Africa. So where is Africa in these global issues here? Where is Africa in this global situation? Only the victim we have in those issues in Europe, where there's any uprising problem, whether in US, it is a few community being affected because they are on those countries. But where is the whole continent of 55, 54 countries that are called the continent? 1.5 billion population of Africa, 1.2 in Africa, and 3.5 in the diaspora. Where are they? What is their impact in these global issues? We have no inner impact in global issues. Nobody is listening to what African leaders are saying. We are a market for them. Only a market. But we have to change these policies. Let them be a market for us, not us to be a market for them. Because the only place for the refuge in the future is Africa. So if Africa is not ready and is not organized politically, economically, militarily, we are going to be a victim again, to be colonized by those who will come to us. They came as a few people and they study us, and that is why we become a slave for them. Now, if they run from the Europe, if Europe now gone to the mess, there is no any other place they will run. They will not go to the mass. They will run to Africa. And when they come to Africa, we will have another masters who will go to master us. So are we ready for that? Or let us put it opposite. We should have the Africa we want, a strong political organization, a strong military organization, a strong trade organization. That is what is going to help Africa in the coming future. If not, still, we will be crying as a slave always. Our leaders still, some of them, they still go and beg now. They still go even beg the Western world. We need this, we need that. This is a big issue. This is a big issue. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tony JAJA. I mean, when I listen to you, I'm telling you, I feel like throwing out. When I listen to you, it's like, you know, it's a fact that this a situation analysis that could happen if we look at it from the perspective of the way the muscles of the community or the global world or the international community is reacting. And you've been posing this question: what is our part in it? And you said something. The first, the second, or what is happening now, the third is not in Africa. So why do they call it the world? I mean, Africans have really been busy this time asking, and they keep saying, oh, please keep your business to you. That's a European conflict, or that's internal policies of Europe. Deal with your thing. Or what is Europe and America? We are not part of it. That's what I hear the young people of Africa say. The youth of Africa are so determined that they don't want to be a part of the process, be it the elders that have put themselves into this mess. The youth of Africa are not ready for this. And I think even the European youths also, they're not ready into this kind of chaos. So we are going to see also another situation analysis or a case study in where if we focus on our young people, on ourselves to build them, and already they're taking position. They don't want to be a part of anything that was built on their names or anything. They want to start and build the future that they want. If we did not succeed to do that, do you see that happening? I know you are a youth and peace ambassador, particularly for the young people. You're putting out your voice there, you're encouraging them, you're motivating them. But on the other side, you're also talking to the leadership and you are doing this. But what is the possibility? The youth, the future that is growing is what we should focus on, isn't it?
Tata, we have very smart young generation.
Yes.
Very smart. They are very smart. But we need a program to prepare them for the next generation.
I share.
When we talk about next leaders or next generation leaders, we should start from now. We are not going to put them under the agenda 2063 because this is so far. I see it very far after 40 years, something like that. It's so far. Agenda 2063 is very far, but we have to prepare our young people from now. When we talk about this big effect that is going to affect us in this global economic crisis, because who is buying your oil? You don't sell your oil in Africa. It's West, it's Russia, it's China, it's America buying from you, Europe buying from you. Who's buying your gold is the West. Any other minerals you have, diamond, who's buying it from you is the West, China and others. Because you have nothing you produce, no manufacturers you are producing. We don't have even our own military bases as an African, as a continent. Military base, we don't have them. That we say this is a military base for the continent to protect our security affairs. No, that is why you have the American military base in Africa. You have them in Djibouti, you have them in West Africa, you have them everywhere. China is there, Russia is there. Those nations are coming to make the military base, but you have no even 2 soldiers base, not all of the big military in Europe. That's a big issue here. Our policies, we should review them with the West. You see what this president of Mali said? We should review our military relationship with France. Why do they say that? It's about security. And this is what we should do as an African, not as individual countries, but we should go back to the constitution of the African Union. What it all means, because we talk about partnership. What kind of partnership are we talking about? The partnership with the West, partnership with the Security Council, partnership with the United Nations. So why are we not implementing this partnership? Because there's rules of engagement in this partnership, and we are not doing it. Is need a very strong political will from our side to build a generation that will lead the country, to lead the continent as a smart generation. We have been taken from them. We have no satellite. You don't have internet that is you own by yourself. That is a big issue here. That's a big issue. The global world, whatever, the international community, the Western world, they are thinking of building a space military because they go to the space. Where are we here as an African?
Okay, I think he's been kicked out, and thank you so very much. I see Brother Professor James Small is watching with us. Thank you so very much, Prof. If you're ready, I can send you the link and you join us. Dr. Tony JAJA has been kicked out of the show, I think, due to connection and also power the issues there in Sudan where he is. That was already something that delayed us to start the program today. But I want to thank all of you that are watching. And yes, Professor James says, I love this brother. Yes, of course. He's a statesman. but we are the small people, and sometimes we really will want to mind our business. And what if we just focus on our unity, our culture, our lifestyle, dancing, our music, and doing our other things, right? And just not get into some of these heavy topics. These topics are topics, when I leave this show tonight, I really will have to drink a lot of water. Honestly, these are not my topic. Oh, military security, yeah, some kind of things that, like, but like Professor James said, by every means necessary. There are things that we are not going to run from it because we are in the process. But we are minding our business to start, focusing on our young people. And I'm so grateful that we sent this recruitment, that the Pan African Daily TV is recruiting internships and volunteers and freelancers, talented young people of Africa, and we're looking forward to recruit at least 200 to 300 volunteers, internships that are doing, journalism or whatever. And so we want to start building our own army, and our own army is the army of unity, the army of just minding our own business, trying to give the young people a sense of direction. What is it that they know about themselves? How can they brand themselves? How can they work together in their generation? What is it that they can benefit and profit? I think Ambassador Tony JAJA is back live with us. Ambassador, are you there? Are you there? Can you hear me? All right, I think that was just not him. We should. I'm very happy that we saw the face of Professor James watching us here, and I hope that we could have him tomorrow or anytime soon on this program. And what is it that we should be doing? Thank you so very much. I'm so sorry that I don't know what happened.
And just went off.
Okay, no problem, but you're here, so sometimes we don't even need to ask what happened. We just do it at the moment you're here. It's very okay. Thank you so very much, Dr. Tony JAJA. Your brother from the US, Professor James Small, is watching you, and he's saying he loves. I mean, he just likes you. That the vibration, the energy, the truth to power is there. Some people would like, you're just so straightforward. You talk to the leaders. You talk to one of them, Dr. Tony JAJA. That's why I'm always happy to have you here, because you talk to them and you can bring us some of those messages that we've been longing and waiting to hear from them. Now, do you think this situation is really the last step, that they say this is the last straw on the camel's back, that your leadership and your colleagues, the leaders, would understand and take some action?
Susan, African leaders are not prepared for what is happening.
What should we do with them?
They are not prepared. What is happening now, they are not prepared at all. They're just watching, and that's it. The Western world has prepared themselves, know what is going to happen, the consequences that they are going to face, and they have the exit. But we, Africa, we have no exit now, because we are not prepared for it.
Wow.
We are really not prepared for it.
So what should we do? What are we going to do? Now, everything, let's just play around this thing. Everything is just crashing. Now it's like no leadership, nothing. Who do we pay? Who do we listen to? And how do we orientate ourselves? I mean, they're your brothers. You talk to them every day. You people sit and drink coffee and that.
Yeah, I talk to them.
What are we going to be doing?
I was with Musa Faki, the chairman of African Union, 2 weeks ago. He came to Khartoum to come and negotiate for the military and the civilian to come together to form the civilian government and all these things. And they did not come with their initiative. They are coming to listen to the people of Sudan so that they can solve their problem. You see, and you have problem in Mali there. You have problem in Burkina Faso. You have problem in Guinea Conakry. You have other problems, and these are the issues now you have seen. I told him, Mr. Chairman, we have met before. We discussed some issues, you and other 5 presidents, when I was telling you Africa should prepare themselves. That was some years back. And again, we met 2020. I did not go to the summit this year, but he came, we met, and I told him that African should solve their own problem. African problem should be the African solution. But always we have to wait for the West to come and help us to solve our problem. That is our issues here. We should put ourselves in a right track to solve our own issues when we have some crisis. Do you know we have no any preparation for the emergency? If anything happens, if the earthquake happen, if the volcano happen, if any kind of pandemic, the disease happen, we are not prepared. But the Western world always they are prepared because they know they manufacture and they know the solution of that manufacture. But we are always receiving, the receivers for what have been manufactured, what have been invaded, and we don't know the genesis of invasion. You see, and this is the problem here with Africa. We really have to do it ourselves. We have scientists. We talk about thousands of scientists that who can help the continent. But when they come back, they have no any help from the political leaders. We are fighting the seed. This is the problem. When we don't have a program that can help the generation to come. We talk about today leadership. We don't talk about 50 years, 100 years leadership, how to build nations. Until today, African has not been built. The nation are not been built. Nation is not about the flag. It's not about election of the president or something like that. It is about the science. Science is the one now leading the world with the economies. They are the one leading the world. All they depend on the expert. African leaders, they don't listen to their African expert. They listen to the Western expert. So you cannot know my home. I am the one who know the home. I know what is inside. The Western world, the Western man can come and stay in Africa in 6 years, and now the nation will go and send him as an expert for African issues, African affairs. But we don't have African expert to be listened to, like what we have in the West. All these economic issues, the crisis, it is made by the expert because these are the experienced people. But we in African, we really have issues to be tackled. We really have issues to be laid as a good foundation on it. We don't want to wait another decade, but we have to start from now. That's what we have been talking. The reason why the unity is not working for the African, it is because we are not connected on our mindset. Not connected yet. Thank you, Professor James.
You have a backup.
Ambassador, I've just been enjoying your truth.
You're welcome.
Absolute truth. It is the right analysis. You have the right solution. And it's not complex, what you're saying. But we must be determined to begin the practice that you're talking about. You see, we got to stop talking and begin the practice of this unity. We have Africans from every nation in Africa have been educated in every institution of technology and economics in the West. And we haven't brought them back home and said, tell us what you've learned. And how can we best use that from our perspective, based on our needs and based on our cultural interpretation of this information. And I agree with you, we need to start now. Right now. We needed to start yesterday, but for sure, right now.
No. Yes, I agree with you, Professor. This is what we have been talking about.
Well, I've been
And we have
you.
to swallow the truth, even if it is bitter. We have to swallow and let us walk.
Yes. And
the Western wall was built by the Black community. We know very well. Everything we see, it is them.
We built it.
Okay, bring it back to Africa.
Yes.
Come and rebuild Africa.
Yes.
Because let me say, Professor, Africa is the future of the world.
It's now.
Yeah.
And as you said before, early in your speech, we have not built Africa yet. What we have is their camp, that we are ruling over temporarily, minimally ruling, because they're still ruling. So we need to begin to design, how do we rebuild Africa? It's like, Susan, when I first met you, you said, we want to build the African and the Africa we want to see. Not the Africa they want to see.
What we want to see.
Yes. We want the Africa we want to see. And so your message, I just want to listen to you. Your message is just on point. I just want to be here to support you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Thank you.
But this is our route. This is the only way to freedom. True freedom. Remember what true freedom is: to be shackled to your own identity, not somebody else's. Your economic must be shackled to you. Your politics must be shackled to and designed by you. Your science must be shackled to your aspirations in terms of what you want to build. Because what we need to build in Central Africa is not what they need in Los Angeles or New York.
Yes.
What we need to build in Sudan is not what they need to build in Georgia or Chicago. And we've got to be clear. How do we build? We have everything. We can cut the West off right now and say, go about your business. We never want to see you again. We have everything we need to build the world that is the human world.
And the world still need Africa.
Yes.
They are the one who need us.
Yes. They need our minds. They need
and this resources. Is what our leader don't understand. They are the one needing us.
And truly, our leaders don't get it. We should be rallying around the young man in Mali. We said, somebody finally had the guts to say what Lumumba said what Nkrumah said, what Emerson Cabral said. Somebody says, let's say it again. And we're not rallying behind him.
The problem we have, Professor James, we don't protect our young leaders. That is the problem. They can stand their ground now, but again, they will not be supported by the other nation, other leaders.
And that's what happened before. That's why we lost so many of the beautiful young soldiers that the ancestors and God sent to us. But we have to change that. And so we need to tell the young masses, the majority of Africa is below the age 25. We need to tell them, rally around these young heroes.
Yeah.
Rally around these young heroes and make sure we protect them this time. They're not going to kill Sakara so easy this time. We will rally at their side. I remember he was the first vice president of the Sudan when you were trying to get the unity together. He died in an helicopter crash. I forgot his name.
But this is the Dr. John Garang.
Yes, and I knew him when he was in America, dreaming of bringing his country to where, he wanted to see it go. So the young people have to say, we are not going to go down the road of neocolonialism.
Do you know I had a meeting with him 1 month before he died? We met in Egypt.
Yes.
And we discussed a lot for 5 hours talking.
Yes, sir. He was clear on the Africa he wanted to see. Very clear.
We will carry on. We will carry on. That is why we have to be clear. Generation has to hear, because we cannot build when you don't know the truth. Because when you don't know your history, you don't know the truth. You will not build the nations.
Absolutely.
You cannot take this step up for the future unless you know the truth.
So we're going to keep pushing, and that's what Susan Platform has given us an opportunity to reach the young people all over the globe, and says, surround our leaders, surround these young men and women, surround these soldiers with their courage, and says, we want to change, and we will protect you with our bodies by the thousands, millions if we have to bring that change.
Yes, we
can.
Can do that.
Yes, we can. When George Floyd was killed, we saw millions in the streets. Let's tell them now, Africa has been smothered, has been choked to death. Let's respond with the same millions in the street.
Yeah, we have seen when wars waged in Africa in some countries. Let's talk about Sudan. When Sudan went for war for 21 years, how many people died, lost their life? About 2.5 million. Nobody talk about it.
And right now they're talking about
nobody wants even to say stop war.
Yeah, they're talking about Ukraine. America was bombing Somalia last week, and no one said a word. Not one word.
And the same thing when they invaded Libya. Nobody. Yes. So when they invaded Iraq, nobody.
We've got to tell the young people, go past the intellectualism of this discussion. Practice what we're talking about. Even if it's hardship. Some of us gave up the academics and gave up the university and gave up the corporation to fight with our voice and take the hardship. Some gave their lives day after day, so that you have the opportunity now to say, we have young people standing up in Africa. The youth should come and say, we are tomorrow, and we will surround you, and we will protect you. And we will tell those who are tied to the Western corporate structure, either break those ties, or we will break your relationship to the ties. I know we got to be careful how we say these things, but they understand that if even Europe is going to be saved, they're going to have to listen to Africa. They've started war after war after war in Africa, and we've managed to come out of it with our lives, even though we lose many people. Let us tell you how to live in a humane society that isn't dependent on war to progress. There's no need for war to progress. You know, there's enough wealth to feed everybody on earth. There's enough knowledge to know how to grow food everywhere on earth. There's enough scientists and science knowledge to give medicine to everyone on earth. Why are we fighting? Except for a greedy few who want to have as much of it as they can.
You're right. You're right. There is absolutely no reason for fighting.
No. But if we do have to fight, let's make Africa our mother and our father, our ancestors, and the dwelling of the place of our divine. And we will give our lives day after day if we have to in defense of her, if we do have to fight.
Yeah.
Thank you. At least where the young people have a sense of direction and a leadership must not really be someone like we say in the African, in our proverbs or in our community and in our way, it takes a whole village to raise a child. So we never even had that kind of a structure that is one person that has to be, We know that we listen to our chiefs, we listen to our leaders in the community, in the village, in the compounds and everything, but there never was such this kind of, I'm the one that it was a collective effort. So let's just go back to pre-Africa, ancient Africa, the way we lived our lives and not mind ourselves, feed ourselves, raise our crops, raise our children, in harmony, build healthy families and spirited families. We don't want to get into the trauma of all things that don't make us grow, and then we become sick and sick. Now we are recovering. When we say we want to build the Africa we want, we're healing ourselves. Our young people are getting knowledge, and they already know what they want. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that this generation that is coming up, even if they don't have to do away with everybody that started it, but they just unfortunately know what is they would want. And so, but we are healing ourselves, and we don't want to get into another phase of a trauma again for the next decade. So yes, we are not part of it.
Yeah, the doctor said something that was very important, though. Africa doesn't have an army of its own. It doesn't have a military complex, and you can build it without being vulnerable. If we just look at our ancient models, and I'll use Ghana, every village had an Asafo company. Every young man had to learn how to fight in defense of his community before he reached manhood. Every African village, every African town, every African city should have a structure that says every African male and female child, before you accept the mantle of adulthood, you must do at least 2 years in militia training.
Exactly.
This continent.
But Europe does it. Europe does it. You have to do a voluntarily year in the military to learn discipline, to learn this. What we don't have any structure like that.
Because someone outside of our country is telling us how to structure and manage our country. You see?
Not our own self.
Yes. They bring us their primitive amount of democracy. African Americans can tell you how true that democracy is. And it's not true for me and my people. So if we look back in our history, we already have the models on what to do. And we have to begin to do it. And if the governments aren't willing or prepared, then the indigenous leaders who have not sold their thrones and their skin and their stool must then take responsibility, since they still carry authority in the community, to begin such a militia development across the continent, whose loyalty is to the people and the ancestors alone.
As I said, we have a long way to go, but we have to start from now to build. Yep.
Oh yes, I mean, we started 2 years ago, Dr. Tony JAJA. We started, you and I, we started this platform. We started 2 years ago, so we are on it.
And you've done a good job, a very good job in 2 years.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
I just wanted to visit you and tell you I'm one of your soldiers. I'm ready to go.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You have to visit Africa
soon. I will be in Sudan soon, and Susan, I'll let you know. I have an old friend, Ahmed Osman, who was a friend of Malcolm's and a friend of mine when I was a very young man. And I actually saw him on a Zoom about a week ago that we did in Cairo.
That's good.
So I told him I would be coming soon. And my friend Forrest Whitaker, Forrest has a refugee camp in southern Sudan. So I wanted to come with him to do some work there. But within this year, I will be in Sudan.
You're welcome.
And you and I will sit and we will break bread and we will have drinks and we will talk and practice.
You are highly welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
And we would be following you.
You will come and you will visit the International University of Africa. You talk to the African student too.
Oh, I'd be more than happy. Maybe we can even set up a Zoom meeting and I can give them a lecture from here.
That's good. I will talk to the Vice Chancellor. I'm a special advisor to him too. And then he's now in Addis, and I will share this thing with him. Okay. Yeah. There's over 44 countries from Africa that they have a student here.
Oh, beautiful. That's beautiful. And you can let them know I will not be scary. I'm a good Haji.
You're welcome.
I'm a retired imam. I know both. I'm learning the old culture and I know the current culture.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
You already transited, and now you're the young growing Professor James Small baby boy that we're seeing. You're not going. Some people will not go with the physical. Some people will just reborn again in this, and just grow. Yes, we really want to thank you, Baba James, for coming up and backing up your brother. We see the unity. Yes, that's what unity looks like. You see your brother out there and you just join in, and we don't need no permission, we don't need no invitation, we don't need no address. Just come in like in the village.
The Yoruba says, "Look on me, you belong to me, and I belong to you." Simple as that.
You are welcome.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
So peace and blessings. So continue, and I'll keep listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. Wow. You see, this is exactly what we are seeing. It's not just the talk. When we talk about brotherhood, unity among elders, among leaders, nobody has anything against the other. It's just the harmony. And we just see Professor James saw you on the show, know that his brother is there, and just come up, exactly in the village, the way we used to do it. So I'm so thankful. This is example, and you young people are seeing the way your elders are harmonized. Focus on the positive ones. Focus on the ones that give us the unity and the strength and the power, and the others we would tolerate and be patient anyway. So, Dr. Tony, what's next? What are you going to be doing? I know you're going to Panama. What's happening in Panama and
Panama in May? We have a reconciliation journey that is being organized by Dr. Melida Harris from the 19th to 25th of May. And I think she's going to invite everybody to come, and there's good numbers of people coming down there to Africa, to Panama. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know whether our girls are still in the chat. Where's Dr. Tatah, the technical team out here? I know it's getting late, and they have to be, sometimes in the studio. I'm just left on my own. I can't get up from the city. Do we have the princess there? I think we're rounding up to say good night.
Yeah.
Are they in the lobby? They said they can't hear us. Yes, of course, their microphones are muted. The microphones are muted. So, okay, anyways, we are thanking everyone that has been a part of this conversation. I think they will hear us. Precious? Okay. Can you hear us? Oh, just keep us done. Hello?
Hello?
Right. Hello. Precious, can you hear us?
We can't hear you.
Okay, we are rounding up because your network is tripping, it's breaking. We can't even see you on the cameras, and so you're already out again. So I want to thank all of you who actually joined this wonderful, educative, informative conversation tonight with Dr. Tony JAJA, and we had to listen the stories, a very tragic, traumatic story of our two daughters that had to run for their lives in the Ukraine. And we know a lot are still there. We're still calling and sending information on our love, our prayers with all. We cannot even single out one. We can't say just our community in Ukraine, all the Ukrainians and all people that are affected out there. Please, we're calling on the global, international big boys to just reason with the world and just leave people live their lives and die at their right time. It is the right of every human being to just live their peaceful life that God brought them on this planet. We're calling on peace and unity and love and prayers. And there's nothing like we is saying again. So please, we keep praying for all the nations, for our countries, for all our people, the incarcerated, a lot of them that are in terrible situations. So we cannot even single out a situation and say, oh no, just this once here. It's all in a mess. Like Tony just said, it's all in a chaos, in a confusion. The world is not really. I don't even think even the leaders that we're talking about are spending some sleepless night as if they're drinking coffee somewhere, right? But they would just be thinking now, I can just press the bomb and it's landing in Somalia or it's landing in Ukraine or something like that. So please, we are praying for global world peace and unity and love amongst ourselves. And good night to all of you. We'll be sharing the next guest that will be joining us on other matters and things that unite us most. I want to say again that we just dropped out our flyer out there. We're recruiting volunteers and internships, and they are young people that are actually passionate. I'm growing old and we need young people to sit behind these cameras and start running these things everywhere that they are. So yes, I want to thank the team of the mothers on board. We just created another new team of a think tank team with mothers that are and that are saying, no, we want to be a part of this process. We are women, we are mothers. We want to know how we can contribute, to support this process and to build our young people up any way possible. So thank you, Cheryl. You're part of this. Thank you, Sanovia. You're part of this. Thank you, Kalena. Thank you, Sister Nadada. Thank you, Tracy. It's just a small think tank. Thank. I want to thank Sarah Bank. Sarah Bank is also a part of this community that we're building here. Women who just said, oh, we want to be on board. Dr. Susan Tatah, what is it that we can do? How can we nurture our people, even if it just means just talking to some of them, healing them, even if it means teaching, even if it means doing anything, like in the compound, I can sweep the yard, I can water the plants. And so I'm very, very thankful. If you're a woman out there and a mother that you say, oh, I want to be a part of this great journey, I have time, even if I don't have time, I'm joining the mothers of the nation, the mothers that are ready to sacrifice everything, their time, their money, their engagement, their knowledge, anything that they can do in this process to move forward. I am very, very thankful for this initiative, and we're looking forward to have you in our midst. It's not about, we want to celebrate the Yah Santas, the Harriet Tubmans. We want to borrow their energy and remember them everywhere they are as mothers of the nation and see how we can contribute as mothers, working for the nation in any aspect that we can do. Even if it's just picking our talents from the street, nurturing them and giving them, the courage. We are ready as mothers. We're just in the background and to build the community and the Africa that we want. So if you're a mother doesn't mean that you have children. So if you are a female, a mother like me, a sister, a queen, young ones to the oldest one, we are building women of the nation for Africa, for the Africa that we want. Thank you. Join our group. And we're also thanking our volunteers. They're already a thing about, we just posted that flyer, but we can see the group is almost even full right now. And we will start really doing mentoring and who wants to be a country director in your country for the Pan-African Daily and who wants to be a volunteer. A lot of young people are saying, we just want to be there. Yes, that's the nation that we want. People that are sacrificing and jumping in and just saying, what can I do? If you feel that, you have that passion, you have that burning spirit, please join us, even just to mentor the young people, even just to advise them, to caution them. Okay, we're not going to do anything on the trainings and everything than just empowering them and giving them the tools, how to communicate, how to tell their stories, how to be proud of who they are. That's what we are going to do. So be a part. Everyone is welcome. Okay, so thank you. We're going to see ourselves tomorrow, and watch out for who is coming to be our guest on this wonderful, amazing Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Efua Nana Tatah. Thank you so much. Good night. Bye-bye. You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.